Kia ora and welcome. I'd like to introduce today's first conversation that we're going to have. And this is around how AI, artificial intelligence, is boosting open banking. It has hard been missed recent headlines in the media in relation to bank failures like the Silicon Valley Bank in the US. Fortunately for Aotearoa, these events are rare, and our Royal Bank of New Zealand has put tools in place to respond to failures such as this, like OBR, the Open Banking Resolution. It allows for our customers to gain full access or partial access to accounts and banking services. As our industry looks to implement open banking, artificial intelligence and technology plays a critical role. And we're here today to talk with Dr. Hisham Aslad, who works at ANZ. He's part of the Innovation Technology team. Kia ora and welcome, Hisham.
Morning, Amiga. Marhaba.
How are you?
I'm so good. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Actually, I know that you've got a welcome prepared, so could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Can I say that your karakia was so beautiful. And we're so lucky in New Zealand, we have the fabric of our Kiwi society is so rich and colorful. Multicultures, multi-backgrounds. I think we're so privileged. Only those who are not part of New Zealand would feel it. And I would like to introduce myself using my own language, just in support for the Diversity Week, if that's all right. That's the Arabic. I'll say, Bismillah. أنا اسمي هشام الأسد. أنا من فلسطين من مدينة حيفا على البحر المتوسط جبل الزيتون في القدس. عندي ولدين آدم ويعقوب. How did that sound?
Beautiful. I think just acknowledging and bringing yourself and your authentic self and your culture to
absolutely. And what I like about Pipiha, Megan, is how we bring nature into our life. We bring the mountain, we bring the sea, we bring the river. It's just amazing. It fits our clean and green definition of Aotearoa. So what I said, my name is Hisham Al-Assad. I'm originally from Palestine, in a city called Haifa. On the Mediterranean Sea. My mountain is the Olive Mountain in Jerusalem. I have two boys, Adam and Jacob, and we three of us, we love technology. I wear two hats. I work in the digital innovation team at ANZ. Beautiful team, amazing. And I wear another hat as academic in a research field. And I completed my doctorate last year in computer science. I analyzed the impact of open banking on the social construction of the banking industry. Basically, I looked at what would change in the structure of the industry, how would that change the relationship between customers and bank, and what is the customer's adaptation behavior? Will they actually use the products and services of open banking or not? Will they say, no, I'm not going to use it, I don't trust you, or will they use it?
Excellent, and actually that leads me into my first question, and I do want to acknowledge you using your Arabic language.
Thank you.
It's fantastic, and that's part of bringing diversity of thought into tech, so excellent.
I appreciate that.
So Hisham, technology is moving fast, and actually it's moving at the fastest pace of change that we've seen probably ever. And so when it comes to the financial services industry, what are the emerging trends that you're seeing?
Absolutely, Megan. The pace of the change is unprecedented when it comes to technology in the financial industries. And but it's something good, because with change comes innovation and increases competition, and ultimately that brings better products and services to the customers. I like to acknowledge the way we view technology. Back in the days, we thought technology just to support business. And then we evolved that concept, and then technology basically to enable business, evolved more, technology is business. But nowadays, all technology is customer-centric. So a good technology is the technologies that comes with an outcome that enhances the level of customer service to our customers and customers, whether it be individuals, businesses, government agency, etc. What I'm seeing nowadays, of course, the amazing capabilities when it comes to cloud, the cryptography, I'm looking at blockchains, the metaverse. I attended the other day a conference in Dubai from New Zealand on the metaverse. Mind-blowing experience. I encourage everybody to just take a dip there. The quantum computing and the advent of open banking and artificial intelligence. And by AI, I'm not talking about only the generative AI. It's part of it. Yeah.
Excellent. And just to help our audience along as well, in basic terms, because we're talking about open banking, can you just explain what open banking and AI mean to you?
Open banking actually brings the concept of democratization of the data. So currently the data is stored in a very fragmented manner, like in a pocket and silos within the banks, with the financial institutions here and there. So it's all started like in Europe, in UK, EU. UK was part of the EU at the time. They looked at the banking industry and they said, what's happening? They acknowledged a couple of things. There is a lack of innovation and there is a lack of competitions. And then the regulator said, okay, what do I need to do? And they said, and this is what they call regulative interventions. And then they came up with the open banking regulations to entice innovation and increase competitions. And that's why they asked the financial institutions to share the customers' data using secure digital APIs. It's called standardized open banking APIs upon the customer's consent. And this is the key, Megan, because a lot of customers do not understand that they have the power in sharing their data with the third-party providers. So what does that mean? That means we are reaching to a high financial inclusion. Financial inclusion means the availability and accessibility of a wide range of products and services, competitive products and services. So ultimately, the customer will be the winner of this legislative intervention, as I said. So that's open banking in a nutshell. Artificial intelligence, everybody is expert in AI nowadays, thanks to ChatGPT. I just would like to clarify that AI is an overarching concept that includes actually the machine learning, the computer vision, the NLP, and the robotics.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and ChatGPT or generative AI is just part of the puzzle of the equation.
Yeah, excellent. And we're here to discuss specifically how those applications of machine learning potentially can be helping AI. Are there other components within that tech definition of artificial intelligence that's playing a role?
So our technology is connected, right? And you cannot just take things in isolation. So if we're talking about the topic of our discussions, the open banking and AI, I would like just to simplify it. So with open banking, the concept of open banking is not stationary, Megan. It evolves. It starts by banking sharing customers' financial data with other banks and other third-party providers. I'm talking about the fintech players, right? And then it evolves to include other financial institutions, including like insurance and superannuation or KiwiSaver, et cetera, et cetera. And the concept evolves to become open finance, not open banking only, ecosystem. And then it evolves, and we've seen that in different countries, because in New Zealand we do not have the legislation yet. It's coming, but we do not have it yet. And it evolves more to become a concept of open data ecosystem. And that's when we share these APIs with other utility service providers, telecom, power, government agencies, education providers. And only then we will have a complete picture of what a customer's wants and needs. And
Actually, that's a really good point. You've just talked about some of the vendors or partners that the banks work with. Are you able to run through for our audience a specific example of how this open banking can support them? Yeah,
so currently, again, open banking is not legislated in New Zealand.
Yeah.
But we've been at the bank working with open banking. We've been developing our APIs via the API Center Payments in New Zealand. The CDR legislation, or the customer data rights, it's a critical piece in bringing the open banking, open data live to customers, and all the benefits comes with it. At the bank, we are expecting, and we're excited and expecting the legislation, and we're looking forward to see the exposure draft. And we are actually we're eager to work with officials in the design and development of the accreditation framework, which looks at things like the data loss, data privacy, the liability, and the power of customers, the ability to opt in and out. So open banking doesn't work in isolation. It's collective collaboration between banks, third-party providers, fintechs, and government agencies in order to behave properly and to operate to optimally. All of us should work together. Back to your point, so when open banking hits the market, it lowers the entry barriers, which allows a bunch of fintech players to come and offer their services. Of course, approved fintech players or startups. Not any startup will be able to provide such a service. So the trend we're seeing from other countries that they have open banking, or even New Zealand, there's been progress in that aspect. So the main themes we're seeing, fintech that they're offering, PFM, personal finance, which is basically using the data provided by the open banking and running algorithm AI on top of it, intelligence, to just help customers who are just having a little bit hardship in managing their financials. And that basically takes me to the other theme we're seeing is the financial well-being. For example, you're using this app of a fintech saying, I've got financial objectives. Right? I want to go to Hawaii in 2025. I want to pay back my debt in this year. So what it does, just looks at your money and just makes the calculation, say, we need to put in this pocket, the holiday, this amount of money on a weekly basis. We need to put this money to pay back your debt. So in a way, the intelligence, the artificial intelligence is helping you, guiding you to have a better financial management in your daily life. Other themes we're seeing, the aggregators. Aggregators is basically an app, comes in the middle, it looks at all your financials from different sources, different banks, different financial institutions, and gives you some advice. What is the best insurance provider to go with? What is the best mortgage provider, et cetera, et cetera. We're seeing the sustainability is another thing we can talk about. So these are the main themes we're seeing currently emerging.
So just to play that back, someone like Megan on the street, wanting to set some sort of financial goal. I don't need to then because of open banking and because of the way in which the technology is supporting the capability for other, you mentioned regulated or approved fintechs to come in and play. So I can say, bank, can you please share my data with this approved fintech? And as a result, they can use their Wizzy technology to then help me achieve a specific target using data that previously wouldn't have been made available to them prior to OBR.
Absolutely. In order to service our customers, we need to understand fully their, I call it their financial digital footprint or image. Only then when you understand it fully, you can personalize and customize your products and services to serve them. So what you described is absolutely correct. And I want to clarify, when the customer gives the consent to share their financial data with a third-party provider, one of the fintech, it's not for life. At any point of time, you can withdraw that consent. You have the power.
Excellent. And so, which is fantastic, and it's a great step forward for us as individuals and consumers, and with our financial data being able to be utilised in ways that are driving different outcomes that potentially our banking industry don't focus on for good reason. They're doing an excellent job around keeping us safe and our money safe and in a trusted place. And that actually brings me to my next point around trust and risk with this. It's really important that as we produce technology, and particularly with artificial intelligence, this idea of a non-human entity making decisions about us, making credit risk decisions, decisions around my financial data. What are the trends or concerns that we may have in that space?
It's scary, isn't it? It's
Very.
Absolutely, it's terrifying. So, Megan, I want to start clarifying that with every technology brings opportunities and equally brings risks and concerns. So we cannot just take it as a face value, say, everything will be like perfect. No, this is incorrect. And what you mentioned, the trust. The trust is the fundamental element of our social licensing to operate as banks, correct?
100%.
And what does that mean? Does that mean the customer is saying, I trust you? And we're saying, okay, that means we're going to work with full integrity and fairness to serve the people of our communities. And that means, therefore, it's our bank's responsibility to check that any technology we decide to adopt, it's the objective, and number two, it achieves that purpose. So we do not just adopt technologies, not mature technologies. As there's always the balance between the opportunity and the risk. You always need to find that sweet spot, the balance, in order to reap the good, positive outcome out of it. So what I've done, I've looked at the risks and concerns of open banking that comes with it, and the risks and concerns that comes with the AI, the wave of AI nowadays. And then I cross-referenced them, and I categorized them into three main dimensions. So the first dimension, I looked at it, I said the ethical dimension, basically. So AI algorithm, as you know, it's all about how you train that machine, right? It's the data sets behind it. So we need to answer questions. Has it been biased? Has it been fair? Because any biasness or unfairness in training that machine, that will result in discrimination. And that basically we're failing our social licensing. That's number one. The second dimension is data. And in data, I'm talking about the accuracy of data, the privacy of data, the security of data, and the IP rights of data. The accuracy, going back to the AI, and we heard the concept of hallucination, right? So it depends, again, the boundaries that you put around your machine, your intelligence, in order to answer your questions. For example, you answer a machine, do aliens exist? You will get very interesting answers, right? But it all comes down, are you allowing the machine to go just surf the internet and use all these interesting theories out there to answer your questions? Or are you restricting your machine to look at the research, scientific facts in order to sort that out? The privacy and consent is a question. So using these digital APIs to exchange the data, customers' data, is it possible to be hacked? Yes, it's possible. Are we doing our best not to make it? Absolutely. But it is a risk out there. The IP rights, as we know, like for example, AI, when it comes to art, music, painting, drawing, because we need to clarify a point that the AI does not understand what it answers. You ask them a question, they give you the best thing, collective answer from different sources, but they do not actually understand the answer. You ask them to compose a melody, they do not know music. They will go search, understand all the melodies being out there, and then come back, bits and pieces from there and there. But what about the rights for the original composer? Don't we need to look at their rights and that? That's an emerging trend now. There's a lot of cases we heard about. The third dimension in terms of concerns is the outcome. So we as financial service providers, we need to be responsible and accountable for the decision made by that machine. We need to have transparency to explain how has that been reached and to explain the outcome to our customers.
Yeah, no, that's right. So being responsible around the way in which we design and taking on board all the use of data and what data we're using to train our models is all really critical.
Absolutely.
As well as creating that transparency and accountability. Those are really good points to focus on. We're getting to the end here, but there's one particular point I do want to focus on just momentarily, and this is around quantum computing. It's here, it's around, we're starting to be spoken about, and we're focusing on AI today, but quantum computing is going to bring another big significant push in this space. What's your thoughts around the impact here?
I reckon quantum computing will be the theme for Tech Week next year, by the way. This is my prediction. So quantum computing is a branch of computing that relies on quantum mechanics. So how deep do you want to go down the rabbit hole? I'm just going to quickly explain it. In the conventional computing, it uses the simple binary system 1 and 0. So we have only this position. In the quantum computing, the theory says that in physics, operates differently when we are at the atomic or subatomic level. So what does that mean? It can be 1 and 0 at the same time. It can be in different states at the same time, and this is called qubits from quantum bits, and which allows us to create a very super machines, powerful, solves very complex problems in a faster time. So with quantum computing, open banking brings data. Quantum computing with AI into it, we're able to process a colossal, vast amount of data, and we achieve a massive outcome. It helps us in prediction, in simulation, and in cryptography. Just rushing.
Excellent. No, that was good. And look, and there was a lot of technical detail in this conversation, but it's really important to understand those elements of technology, how it's impacting our potentially us as consumers with bank accounts, and also the way in which our industry is actually focusing on the ethics and the trust elements of it and making sure they're building it securely and taking all these critical points into account.
Trust is the fundamental element in the relationship between us and our customers. And as I said, one of the concerns I was having chat with one of my friends, they're saying, will the human be replaced by the machine? I don't think any machine can replace the element of empathy or trust or conscious. We're not there yet. I think we're all safe. We will use the machine to our benefits and harness this technology.
Excellent. Look, I want to thank you for your time and coming in and sharing your insights.
Thank you very much, Kia ora.
Really appreciate what you're bringing to the table around this conversation and the way in which artificial intelligence is being used across our banking sector as we stay abreast and stay on top of these emerging trends and innovation.
Shukran jazilan, Megan. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. And to our audience, coming up, we have a fascinating panel being led by Alison Mackey, who's going to be talking around imagery and art space. So please do stay tuned.